It's the summer of 1999. The trail is easy, more of a walk than a hike. Every few minutes, Bob says, "Slow down." Frustrated, I stop and wait for him to catch up. I sigh and hope he hears it. I say, "We just started." Bob says, "I'm tired." He leans on one of the boulders that line the trail. "Hike by yourself if you're in such a rush," he says. "We're on vacation, remember? Everything's not a race." For a second, I think he's being difficult, but I know Bob. We've been married almost 12 years. If he says he's tired, he's tired. "You may look good," I say, "but you're in really bad shape." I brush a fly off my leg. I think how my getting up at 6 every morning to exercise has had zero influence on him. Other wives get their husbands to work out or lose weight. Some women turn their steak-eating men into vegans. And I can't even get Bob to walk around the block. In the car on the way back home, I stay quiet because I don't want to argue. I'm tired of saying, "You know, if you exercise just a few days a week, you wouldn't get so out of breath." Bob stays quiet too. I guess he doesn't want to argue either. I don't nag Bob about silly things like watching his action movies or when he works late. I nag him to exercise. What I'm really saying is, stay alive for me. I need you. Less than a year later, the mitral valve in Bob's heart malfunctions. It's bad, but even though there are only days to repair the valve, Bob makes the calm decision to fly to Boston. Brigham and Women's Hospital is one of the best places at fixing hearts. He has just enough time to fly there. We check into the hospital the afternoon before his surgery. Nurses come in and out of the room. Bob makes friends with all of them. One leaves laughing. In the hall, she tells another nurse, "He's so funny." The surgeon comes into the room around 8 p.m., says he'll try to repair the valve, but there's a chance he'll have to replace it. Bob gets him to smile too. I'm nervous. Bob's making jokes. "Go back to the hotel. Try to sleep," Bob says. He's worried about my sleep. There's nothing I can do now, and I know leaving is the right thing. "I'll be back here by 6. We kiss. "I love you," we say at the same time. I look back at him before leaving the room. He smiles and waves the TV remote. I don't look back again. I wait for the elevator. A man with a hospital ID asks, "Are you okay?" I wipe my eyes. I drive the rental car back to the hotel. My hands tremble on the steering wheel. I tell myself to take a taxi in the morning. There's a hollow sound as I open the door into our hotel room. I leave the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the outside handle. I sit on the side of the bed Bob slept on last night. The next morning, I'm with Bob as they roll him into the pre-op area. Again, I say, "I love you." I kiss him on his lips. "See you in a little while." Then they take him away. The waiting room at Brigham and Women's is the biggest I've ever been in. Lots of people and still plenty of vacant chairs. I approach a woman at the desk. "Hi," I say, "I'm Mrs. Panoff. My husband Robert is the patient." I pick a seat where the woman can see me. I search my purse for a couple of Pepto-Bismols. After 4 hours, Bob's surgeon calls and says he was able to repair the valve. "Thank you," I say. Then I sit back in my chair and thank God over and over for getting Bob through surgery. Later, I'm in the cardiac ICU waiting room for immediate family only. It's tiny. I'm anxious for a nurse to come get me for my first visit with my husband. The nurse arrives, smiles, and shakes my hand. She's serious and warm, and I'm glad she's Bob's nurse. It's going to be upsetting to see your husband at first. We have him tied, and the breathing tube is still in. He has tape over his eyes, and I'm going to take that tape off while you're in there. You'll have 5 minutes. Bob is surrounded by wires and tubes. One of the machines is doing his breathing. His skin is gray. He looks dead. I feel like all the air has just been kicked out of me. I'm okay, I tell the nurse, because I know she's looking at me. She's gentle pulling the tape. Bob's face and eyes are expressionless. He's not back in his body yet. I go back to the little waiting room and sit another hour. When I see Bob again, his eyes are flashing. He thinks he's being suffocated because of the tube in his throat. You're not suffocating, you're breathing, doing great, I say again and again. He shakes his head violently. His arms pull the restraints. I'm relieved he's back to the point of not listening to me. Sometime after dark, Bob's breathing tube is removed. The night nurse tells me he's made it through the most dangerous part of recovery. His olive complexion is back, and his expression is peaceful, like he's dreaming about holding Joseph when he was a baby. The nurse writes the unit phone number on a piece of paper and hands it to me. I'll be with him all night. He's doing well. Try to get some rest. He's going to need you. We fly home a few days later. I take care of Bob. Years pass. Bob takes care of me. These days, Bob walks a little more, and I nag him a little less.